What's up everyone? Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be doing the predictions for the IEM Kraków 2026 playoffs. And so just to give you a little rundown, FURIA and Aurora play in about 3 hours, 4 hours basically. A little over 4 hours. They're going to be the first match. So the first match that I do want to analyze here for the quarterfinals is going to be FURIA versus Aurora. And I was sort of struggling to really think about who's going to win this match before I started recording the video. And when you think about it, right, it's kind of funny because it's like you think it's FURIA versus Aurora. And if you look at FURIA's second half of the 2025 season, they were really dominant. They were projected to potentially win the major. And then they just come into IEM Kraków, and the first match, they lose to FUT 2-0, which is the old Navi Academy team. I don't know if FUT bought them out or if they just all moved there, but 4 of these players have played with each other for so long, even though the average team age is like 19 or something like that. It's crazy. So they lose 2-0, then they 2-1 the Mongols, and I don't know how much weight you put on this, because, you know, Mongols is trying to, you know, redo a bunch of things. And, you know, they have Cobra Zera. That's going to take a little bit, but it's still the 4 Mongols, right? So it's bound to be pretty decent, but FURIA edged that one out. And on to FURIA versus Navi. FURIA beat Navi 2-1, which is a bit of a, I don't know if you'd call it a revenge match, but FURIA got taken out of the major by Navi. So maybe this was a little bit of a grudge match. We have to beat these guys, take revenge. So they did, 2-1. And then FURIA and Astralis. FURIA beat Astralis 2-1. And I don't know, I feel like Astralis could have been a good 2-0 to really get up their confidence for FURIA, but I mean, Astralis is looking really good, especially with their 2 new players, I believe. So then we go over to look at the Aurora games. And they started out in stage 1, so 2-0 Gamer Legion, 1-2 Paravision. I'm not surprised about that. Paravision's looking disgusting. And then 2-0 Pain, which I think is pretty good, in my opinion. I know Pain has been struggling, but, you know, it's still a, you know, mid-tier team for the top teams. They beat Falcons 2-1, which I don't even want to go into that. That could be a whole separate video by itself. And then Aurora beat MOUZ 2-0, and this is really, and then they lose to Vitality 2-0, but I mean, who's surprised about that? But I want to focus on Aurora and MOUZ game. 2-0 for Aurora, and I mean, it's, the Dust 2 wasn't too close. MOUZ tried on the Inferno, but I mean, that's really good. That's really good. And then they bring, I forgot about this, they bring Vitality into overtime. Is this the map where, yeah, Zywo had 53 kills, dude. That's ridiculous, dude. Vitality are just still looking on top. It's ridiculous. But this isn't about Vitality right now. And then, you know, 13-7, but I mean, they're bringing the distance to these teams. They really are. That's why I really struggled to think about it, because when you're thinking about it, again, it's FURIA. You know, it's this really good team because really good players and are performers. They're performers. But you look at what they, you know, their Krakow experience, and it's just not the FURIA that I think that we should see. And then what I think is really funny, and what kind of was not really putting me over the edge, but being like, huh, a lot of people are the same thing. It's almost 50-50. Aurora are beating FURIA in the predictions by 0.5%. That's crazy. It's gonna be on a stage with a crowd, and the crowd's gonna get it. And we all know Molodoi loves a crowd, right? Man, I know Aurora are breakers, and I'm thinking about that and really trying to be like, they're breakers. It's gonna be on a stage. It's gonna be in front of a crowd, but it's like, this could be their chance. This could be their chance. But then on the other side, it's just like, it's FURIA, dude. It's FURIA on a stage with a crowd. Like, what are you going to do? You can't do anything about that. I think I'm going to be fun. I'm not going to be so stingy. I'm not going to be stingy or picky or anything like that. I'm going to go with Aurora. I'm going to go with, I would call it maybe an upset. for last year. Obviously, it's a new year. It's 2026. You know, a lot of teams are looking to be a lot better. But I think I'm going to go with Aurora there. G2 versus MOUZ. I would love to... That's kind of crazy. I wonder how many people are voting in this. So they started off in stage 1 and they beat Passion UA. I think that's really good. I think Passion UA has been looking good. They're starting to climb up in the ranks, and especially their teamwork and their slaying power. I don't think anyone can take away from what they've been able to do and the progress that they've made, especially. 2-1 Team Liquid. I'm not surprised there. I don't think about Team Liquid at all, to be honest. Then we go to the actual main stage of Kraków. 2-0 Mongols, 2-1 Foot, and 1-2 Spirit. This Spirit game was really good. I think both teams did really well. I honestly thought after the Dust 2, I thought Spirit were just going to take this because it's Overpass, right? Spirit are kind of an Overpass team. Maybe they've strayed away from it since it's come back, but I still regard them as an Overpass team. And then Anubis 13-8 kind of just, you know, took care of business. Then if we go look at MOUZ, I think, see, this is the weird part though. So they 2-0 NRG, right? Not that hard. It's NRG. For MOUZ, that's nothing. That's light work. And then they get 0-2 by Aurora, which we just talked about in the Aurora page. And then they 2-0 FaZe, not hard, in my opinion. Not hard. FaZe are not looking good right now. 2-0 Falcons, which, I mean, again, there could be so many things said about Falcon, but that's a completely different video. Also, I apologize if my voice sounds very bad right now. I'm trying to get over some sickness or some cold. I don't know what it is, but I digress. We're going to keep moving forward. It's so crazy. I don't know what I think, to be honest. I think this is harder than the FURIA Aurora one. This is difficult. To be honest, I think MOUZ are still on a different level than G2. G2 have been looking amazing though. G2 have been looking phenomenal. I love that this team is starting to come together. MOUZ is starting to absolutely crush, and I'm really happy to see that. But I still just think MOUZ are, for now, on a upper level than G2 is, but G2 are creeping up, and if there was one match to show that they are creeping up, it could be this one. It really could be this one. And honestly, that's why I'm going to go for G2 here. I think I'm going to go for G2 here. I'm choosing the majorities. That's kind of annoying. But I think this is like the match to show everybody that G2 is coming for spots and that they're going to, you know, be upsetters. They're going to be upsetters. They know they're underdogs, and I think they're going to really hone that in and be able to win this match. I think that'd be awesome. We got, Aurora going to play Spirit, right? So we got Aurora going to play Spirit, and then we got G2 going to play Vitality. So if we look at Spirit's page, right? They beat G2 2-1, which we already talked about. They 2-0'd Navi and 2-0'd Astralis. Honestly, I think Spirit are going to win anyone they face, to be honest. I mean, if I'm going to be honest, I'm really just going to kind of go straight forward here. So this is Aurora. This is G2. I think even if it was FURIA here, I still think Spirit go on to Grands. It's got to be the same thing, right? It's got to be the same thing. These two, Spirit and Vitality, have looked the best. They've looked the best in this tournament. At least in this tournament, they looked the best. Last Bounty was different, but that was also the first, you know, all that stuff. It was the first tournament. Do people really care about it? Whatever. I think Spirit and Vitality have looked the best at this tournament, and I think it's going to be a Spirit Vitality Grand Finals. For the third place decider, that would be Aurora versus G2. Wow, this is a tough one. This is honestly a tough one. I feel like they've both shown very good improvement from last year. I think they've both beat good players and, good teams. And if my prediction is correct for the quarterfinals, and man, but they both are playing like good teams. But I think MOUZ has looked better than FURIA right now, this year. This is only 2026. MOUZ have looked better than FURIA for this tournament. So I'm going to say G2 is going to be the winner for the third place decider. Then we go to the grand finals. To be honest, this is going to be a best of 5 I think Vitality has a much deeper map pool. They didn't make any changes. They still have the same players. They still have the same protocols. Everything they need to do. They can switch things up if they need to. Spirit are still learning with their new IGL and with Zontix, and then Tenier in a different role on that team. So honestly, I think it's just going to come down to team experience. To be honest, the Vitality's going to have a much deeper map pool. They're going to just be able to rely on each other and themselves a lot more. So I think I'm going to go with Vitality being the winner here. Yeah, so those are my IEM Kraków 2026 predictions. If you think something different, let me know in the comments. If you think the same, let me know in the comments. And I appreciate you for watching the video. Leave a like, leave a comment, maybe subscribe if you want. Catch me on twitch.tv/snaf FPS, SNAF FPS. I'm gonna try and be on a regular schedule, quote unquote regular schedule, consistent schedule, I guess, for streaming more. So if you want to catch me on there, catch me on there. And I hope you have a great night. Have a good night, guys.